Hey Valeria, so I thought what I'll do is I'll just, to save a bit of time, I'll just do it in real time as we're going along. So I can see you're all the way up to AG here. So if I come back to the beginning in this Excel file, and let's just go back to your email a second. It's around here somewhere, that one I think. So we've got to translate A, B, C, D, so not EF. So I take E and F, right click on it and hide. Then we want G, H, so IJ, we don't want IJ. Hide, IJ. We want K, L, so we don't want M to T, M to S inclusive, right click, hide those. So we want T, we don't want T, U, V, we don't want W, and we don't want Y. So we don't want W and we don't want Y. So we hide those. Sorry, I was having a little joke with somebody there. So hang on, Y, Z, so Z, A, okay. And then we want AC and AG, but nothing else. So we don't want that. Hide. We want AC. We want AG. So we hide that. And then we hide. Well, there is nothing else. That's the last one. So that's it, I think. So that leaves everything in the file that needs to be translated. So I'll just save that. So they're not lost. I've just hidden them from view. Now, if I then go to Studio and go to my file options, go to my file types and make sure that the Microsoft Excel that I want to use, this one, is activated, and make sure that it's above anything else. So if I'm using the multilingual Excel, make sure it's unchecked. If I'm using the bilingual Excel, make sure it's below or unchecked. I can uncheck it if I want to. So the Excel I want to use is this one for XLSX. So then I come into the Excel. It's this one here, or content processing. We're not worried about colors, so common. So the common things are here: optional content to include a translation. I don't want headers and footers. I don't want comments. I don't want sheet names. I'll leave some data validation, and I'm not quite sure what that's going to do. And make sure this is unchecked, hidden content. So this means so long as this is unchecked, the columns that we just hid will not be extracted for translation. So I should be good to go now. I didn't look at what was inside the file. Let me just have a, I've closed it now, but I seem to recall that you, in fact, let's just open it again just to check it. But open it up again. I seem to remember on one of your screenshots that there was some embedded content in there. So I may as well show you how to handle that while I'm at it. Yeah, so this stuff, this kind of stuff, you see the H2 and all the rest of it. This is, well, you've also got some of these things in there, /n. So you've got some placeholders in there as well. This could be a little awkward, completely awkward, but anyway, let's look at it. I reckon that must have come from a JSON file or something, because you don't often get those /n's in anything else apart from a JSON that also contains some descriptive work. So my guess is that's where it came from. Probably they could have given you the JSON file, but anyway, they're giving you Excel, so let's work with that. So I'll close that. I've already saved it, so I don't need to do it again. Come back to Studio again. Go down to the embedded content. I'm going to enable the embedded content. Oh, in fact, I have to set the rules anyway. Okay. So let's extract in all paragraphs. Let's click on this here and we'll remove what's there. So the expressions you've got are simple things like, oh dear. Okay, I'm just going to type them in as we're going along. We can do a separate lesson on how to create the expressions. I'll just create a couple quite quickly. So tag pairs. So tag pair would be a tag pair is basically going to be something like, I saw one for H2 for example, and that would be the opening tag, and the closing tag would be something like /H2, something like that at the end of the at the end of expression. So I want to make it a bit generic because I don't want to create all the rules one by one. You could do, and it might be a good idea to do that, but for this little exercise I don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a little expression to say don't give me the closing one, keep finding me everything until you come across a closing one. So that will basically just find everything within that opening and closing bracket. I can explain that later if needed be. I think that will work. And then on the end one we have opening bracket forward slash, and then don't find any of that for as many characters as possible until you find a closing bracket. So that should find all of the stuff that look like that. We'll say translatable. You could format it if you want to, but I'm not going to. And for this exercise, I'll just leave it. So one expression like that. We'll do that for the time being. If I want to preview it, let's just go and do that, because that might make it easier just to check we did it right. So I'll just make a note of where that was. Browse, go and get it, and then preview it. Might have been a bit, perhaps I should have deleted some of the content of that file so it's quicker doing a little test rather than trying to do it with the big file, but there we go. So we pulled it all out, so you can see I've picked up all of this embedded content here. The stuff I haven't got is this stuff, so actually I'll do that as well so you can see how that works. I'll do that in a second. But basically that's it. So that's extracted all of your stuff out there and it's tagged up the content, so we're halfway there. And those \n's, which are probably carriage returns or something like that, are the only bit we need to do. So let's just add another rule for that, because it's a \n, I need to escape the backslash, because the backslash has a special meaning. So I'll escape it, and I'll say this can be, I'm going to put it in backslash, put it in brackets, and plus, so if there's more than one, it will repeat it and should find them all. I think that will do it. And then if I preview that, it's just a placeholder, that one, not a tag pair. So if I open that one, let's see, there we go, look, we picked those up as well. So we just protect the tags. You don't have to, but protecting them is going to be quite useful, because it'll mean that it'll prevent you making a mistake there. You can just place them as tags instead. What we could do, I suppose, all of these opening and closing tags, see, this is why you might want to make them separately. Okay, so all of these ones, the \n's, look like they're coming after a full stop. So one thing we can do is we just to segment it a little bit better, edit. You could probably do a much better job of this than I'm doing, but I'm doing it quite quickly. I can just, so to give you an idea, so formatting, segmentation tip exclude. So I'm going to tell it to exclude, which will force it to segment, and it will drop onto the next line. So we say OK. Okay, so now when I preview, you probably won't see any of those \n's, but what we will see is the file will be segmented a bit neater. So it'll hide them all for you. So let's just open that up. It's taking a bit longer now because it's got a bit of extra work to do. There we go. So as that comes down, sorry, I'm getting a bit of a rendering issue going on there somewhere. I don't know why that is. Oh, there we go. So you can see you can't see any of those \n's anymore, or \n's, but that's because now it's segmenting, so it's segmented all the text. So this makes it really easy for you to handle now, because they're all proper sentences. There's maybe a couple, oh no, they're okay too. Anyway, you get the idea. If you do come across anything that you think looks a bit odd or you'd like to handle in some way, we can take another look at the file and do it. You might want to create a tag for these bits on the end there, I suppose, just to separate them. Yeah, but it's altogether a whole lot better. So you get the idea. That's basically how you do it. So once you've done that, you then click on OK. You then can create your project. So I'll go to Control N, New Project. If I'm going, let me just go from my default project template, because that's what I just changed. And let's say I'm going from, I didn't see what language that was. Was that Italian or something? I didn't see it. I didn't pay attention. Let's just pretend it's Italian, because I don't want to go back and have a look. I'm sure you'll get with this. Oh, it wasn't that way around, was it? That wasn't Italian. This was Italian. Italian Italy. So we're going to ENGB like that. Then I can give it a project name. My CSV Excel file. I'll drop it into that folder there. We make sure that it's picked up the right file type, so you can see that it's there. You can click on the file type identifier, which will take you straight to it and make sure you're in the right place. But that's the one, so it's the spreadsheet ML version 1, and I can see from here Microsoft Excel spreadsheet ML version 1. So I know I'm on the right file type. So this is just a couple of things you can check while you're doing it. I'll just click on next, make sure I've got no TMs or anything in there. I haven't, so I'm just going to finish at that point and create my project. So this will create my project properly. That's fairly quick. Almost done. I'm going to leave this in real time so you'll see that actually, so I'm not editing this video in any way whatsoever. I've just done it from the moment I pulled it out of your email. So we're there. So there's the file. Open it up. You got 200. How many was that? I missed that. Sorry, if my studio looks a bit different to yours, it's because I've got loads of plugins installed and all sorts of things I've been playing around with. So it's not quite the default settings, it's just all plugins. But I haven't used any plugins to do this little exercise, so even with the default out of the box, you should be able to do exactly what I've just done. And we're there ready to go. So then you would go through and do your translation. I'm not going to do that now. And then when you're finished doing the translation, you could just Shift F12, which will save the target file. It's going into the ENGB folder. You say save. Saves the target content. I'll just show you the whole thing, because not everybody knows how to work with projects. Some people use a single document process, but projects are far better to work with because there's just a lot of advantages to working with them, and it doesn't take much longer, as you can see. And then your file is already set up with its own special project settings, and if I now explore the containing folder in that files view, that's where the target file is that I just saved, so it's there. So it's that simple. That's all you need to do.